How do I maintain balance in my own life, like my mental state? For me, a lot of it is just kind of shutting my door for a little bit, watching a movie, watching something on Netflix, maybe playing a video game.
As part of being House President, you've given up a lot of your time and a lot of your effort towards that role and towards the House. So sometimes you just need to be selfish, and because you put yourself in this role, you deserve to be.
One of my biggest stumbling blocks was probably balance. Balance between the hall, the guys, spending time with them off the hall, my personal time and schoolwork and relationships.
There's always problems and issues that get built up during the day that you think of between classes, and sometimes they get out of proportion, and so I just take that time to relax, go take a shower maybe, and just be by myself.
Time apart for me is really important, and it helps me rejuvenate and do a better job. And so I had to learn pretty quickly in my time as House President how to do that in the ways that worked best for me to do that.
I just have to get away, and that's closing the door and just letting everyone know that I'm not going to be available for the next hour or 2 hours or whatever it is. Or maybe it's just getting off campus for a little bit.
So I know some HPs, they like to get out of town, get out of Lamoni, but I personally love the community, and I might shut my door for a little bit and I'll hear something going on in the hallway, and even just that 10 minutes of having my door shut, kind of, and being okay, well, I'm going to relax now, I'm going to kind of step away from the role, and then I hear something going on outside and I'm like, okay, do I really want to do this? Because it sounds like there's something happening. Maybe I want to go hang out with the guys.
You have to balance your life and prioritize what's most important. Make a list and say, okay, what are the most important things in my life? And then spend your time that way. Because if the time you spend doesn't reflect the list you made prioritizing your life, then you're not giving enough time to those things, or they're really not that important to you.
I learned really quickly that I am a big introvert and I need my alone time. So I spent a lot of time figuring out how much time I can spend on myself, by myself, thinking to myself, and devoting to the house and also to the studies.
So I'm a very introverted person, and time by myself is very important to me. And I usually do a very good job of keeping my time for myself. I would do it between classes when other people are busy. So those hours at 1 or 2 or 3, whenever majority of the people are in class, my door is usually closed and I'm just either working on homework, just surfing the internet, looking at cats, whatever.
Being straightforward with them is much better than, trying to sneak away or, just tell them I need my time right now. I'm going to have an hour to myself and nobody bother me.
I made sure that I got my runs in, and I made sure that was quality time for myself away from the house.
It sounds cliche, but exercise is a really good time because you can zone out of everything else that distracts you and just focus on you and rejuvenating yourself that way.
I began to realize that I was pressuring myself to be on the house all the time, and I was worrying that I wasn't there enough.
You want more personal time than you feel like you're allowed to have. Even if they tell you, take your time, do your me time and stuff, you still feel like you need to be available all the time. And you really don't need to be as much as you think you do.
My biggest regret is feeling guilty at the beginning of the year for the time that I needed by myself. And so it really helped to have someone say, it's okay if you have your door shut for an hour a day. That's okay. So I'm telling you now, it's okay if you have your door shut for an hour a day.
It's kind of different every day. Some days I might want to sit in my room for 3 hours and just watch Netflix, and other days I might never want to shut my door. I want people to come in and hang out with me all the time.
And when I set aside that extra me time, I was a lot happier when I was here and was a lot more attentive and dedicated, and I was very intentional when I was on the house about knocking on people's doors and saying hi to people.
If you need that time away, take that time away, because if you don't take that time away, even when you are present, you're not going to be fully there and you're not going to be doing the best job you can.
And in order to be the best House President you can be, you have to be that House President for the entire year. So even though you might not be with the hall all the time, because you take your personal space, I think it really will reflect on how good of a job you do throughout the whole year.